favorite players in the NFL.
Yep.
Caleb
is the betting favorite to win MVP next year. And I can hear everybody already saying, I mean, give me a break. You media people. First of all, he's got two big advantages. He's got a great offensive coach, and his game is fun. This is not voted on by an algorithm. People vote on MVP. Caleb's just different. When people get worked up on the completion percentage for Caleb Williams, my take is I don't get too caught up on completion percentage. If Caleb freelances 6 times a game, I'm comfortable with it. I think it needs to get a little better, but if he gets to 61.5 or 62.5, I'm kind of okay with it. Caleb Williams is the bet.
Yep. The betting favorite right now, Pete, for
That's
MVP
amazing.
next year.
It's amazing, right? Because year one, not so great. All of a sudden you get a new coach, you get all the coordinators and the offense, you bulk up that offensive line that we talk about all the time. And matter of fact, John, that leads me right into what I'd like to talk about with the first side of things, which is the Raiders. Now, we talked about this yesterday, and I wanted to do a little bit of research, or the other day, and I wanted to do a little bit of research and find out, all right, so how does this really pan out? So here's what I'm looking at for the 2026 draft. Now, free agency is one thing. That's where you're going to get veteran players. You got to pay them a truckload of money to do that. And I still think it's pretty important, and they need that, right? I mean, when you get an offensive lineman these days, once you get into free agency, you're paying big bucks to get these guys. Well, if they need anything, they need somebody to help Mendoza out. And that's, if they don't, then they don't deserve anything. But I think that they're smart enough that they're going to bulk up that offensive line. They can't give up 64 sacks again this coming year, or Mendoza's going to be hurt and probably only play like David Carr a couple of years in the NFL. So here's the thing. You go out to free agency, you grab a few. Here's the other thing you do. You take Max Crosby and say, you know what? Let's make a little bit of trade, because people have talked about this already. So this is not just me pulling this out of nowhere. They've talked about, hey, Detroit might want to have a piece of this guy. They might want him back into the state of Michigan, which is where he was from, played his college ball there. So if they were able to do a trade with him, John, and I'll explain why I think that's important. You put him over there with Detroit. The defense was not the problem of the Raiders. The defense was okay. It was the offense and the fact that they were not very offensive. They basically just sat around and basically gave up sacks. The quarterbacks with an S, had to get it out there to the tight end and the receivers and everybody else. They've got the running back. They got their running back for the future. They've got wide receivers. They've got great tight ends. They got one specifically who's outstanding. I mean, the guy's unbelievable. So now you get into the draft part of things. Well, the deepest position in the draft, and this is true, I think, for the Minnesota Vikings as well, that gave up 60 sacks, it's deep at O-line. You better take those guys early because they're going to go. So I think that that's something that's really going to be a piece of the puzzle for the Raiders, John, is if they can get a trade or two, get some more offensive linemen that are veterans, and then also do it in free agency, you got a heck of a shot. And oh, by the way, Crosby goes out somewhere in the draft. I want Derek Moore. He's the kid from Michigan that a lot of people are talking about now, but he's not ranked in the top 8, top 10, whatever it is for edge rushers, John. And the kid is an absolute beast, 6'3", 255 pounds. He has great leverage. If you got a chance to watch him in the Senior Bowl just destroy the left tackle for Miami Hurricanes, you'll take a look at that video. I mean, the kid's about 6'7.5", and he weighed about 355 or something like that. And Derek Moore ate him up, just like he did in the Big Ten. He's an all Big Ten edge rusher. Nobody's talking about him because they're deep at edge rushers. But this guy, I think, is special. And I think that he's one of those guys that what he puts on tape is a lot different. And it's why he's so damn good, because he might not have all of the numbers that everybody wants, but the number that I want is a guy who gets under and hits the quarterback, and he does exactly that. The guy's a total stud. What do you think about that, going with the old line for the Raiders?
Yeah, there are plenty of guards and tackles in the draft this year, Pete. Mm-hmm. And so I think they could, trade a second-round pick and a third-rounder maybe and move up if they see somebody that they want, in the draft. But I think free agency too. Between free agency and trades, I think they can get enough around Fernando Mendoza. And let's not forget, they got Austin Genty sitting back there at running back, and he's pretty damn good as well. So he's not huge, but he is a good running back. There's a reason he had all those yards up at Boise, Pete. And I think he gives them a weapon that opens up the passing if they can, get that offensive line solidified around Mendoza.
Yep, they've got to do that. There's no question about it. All right, one more in the NFL. What team do you think could be one of the turnaround teams for this coming year, the 2026 season? And I'm going to throw this one out at you, and you might agree with this one, or you might have your own. Whatever, up to you is great. Cincinnati Bengals. They went 6-11. Now, why did they do that? Well, it's pretty easy, John. Here's what it is. They gave up the second most total yards in the NFL. They gave up the third most points in the NFL, 29 points. They have the worst NFL of stopping the run. They gave up 147 yards per game this past year on the ground. So what does that tell me? It tells me you're going to go out in free agency if you're smart. You're going to get and bulk up that defense, which is pathetic. We just read off some of those numbers that they've got, which are absolutely pathetic. You got to have a defense. And here's the beauty, John. They've got cap room of $60 million. I'd put all $60 million on the defense. The offense doesn't have a problem. Everybody's talking about Joe Burrow should be traded to somebody and blah, blah, blah. No, you've got one of the best offenses in football. These guys are unbelievable. They've got great receivers, and I think that Burrow's as good as it gets. I mean, when you look at things, they got a decent enough offensive line. He's not getting killed back there. So you go defense, you keep going defense, and you do it in the draft, but you also do it in free agency. They got $60 million to spend. I would put that on defense, John. And then I think this is a team that could win 12 or 13 games in the regular season next year. What do you think?
Well, my team doesn't have nearly as much cap space as the Cincinnati Bengals, Pete. But I'm going to say John Harbaugh is going to turn that franchise around, the New York Giants, because in the last 2 years, Pete, take a wild guess how many wins the Giants have had.
In the last 2 years, you said?
Last 2 years. They are 7-27.
Oh, God. That's terrible.
So now they're already projecting that under Harbaugh, they'll win 8.5 games. So basically as much as they've won in the last 2 years. And, you can see why they'd be bullish. A, Harbaugh is a winner. B, Abdul Carter is getting better. And, he is a pretty damn good and highly thought of edge rusher. And then you've got Jackson Dart and a team that Harbaugh is going to build through the draft and perhaps through free agency. Yep. So if you tell me, okay, how are they going to look? Are they going to be another 4-13? I don't think so under John Harbaugh. Now, is it going to be enough to get them to the Super Bowl? I think Cincinnati's got a better shot at that than the Giants. But this is a team that needed a big change. They got a big change, and now they're going to go out there and hopefully win some games and become a threat again. Rather than an afterthought for all the teams that play them.
And I'll tell you, they've got a bit of a running game, John, and they have the kid who unfortunately got hurt, but he was having a pretty damn good year.
Scatabo.
Fantastic name. You got to love it. But the guy was playing. He was a baller, and he was executing until he got hurt. And I think I've heard that he's doing pretty good on his rehab. So if he's back, that's going to help out the quarterback because then you got a running game. And you know what? The Giants had a pretty good running game with him. They were in the top 5 rushing the football. So that says a lot, I think, about Scatteroo and what he's able to do. And obviously, like you said, Jackson Dart at quarterback, not so bad. You put enough pieces to that puzzle together and a damn good coach, you probably can win 8 games. And I don't look past that at all. I don't know that they're going to turn into the New England Patriots, John, or the Seattle, but I think that they can make a major turn in the first year. It's not going to take 2 years. I think the first year they can make a turn. So I think we'll both be wanting to watch that. And, with the draft and free agency, they can do a lot, except for free agency. Like you said, they don't quite have the salary cap room that Cincinnati's got. Cincinnati with $60 million, that you can get a lot of big guys who can play football for $60 million.
Yeah, you can. I think the Giants are cap room's like 10.
Yeah. It's a little tight.
All right. Well, remember, folks, about noon tomorrow, you're going to hear a screeching halt in the market because we are going into President's Weekend. So it means that a lot of option traders especially are going to be dialing forward how much time decay is going to occur from noon on Friday, even though, of course, we trade till 4 in New York, until we reopen on Tuesday. So it's a long time, Pete.
Yeah.
And just be aware of that, folks. And be aware that we won't have a Rebels Edge on Monday because of the holiday, but we will be back Tuesday at, Pete?
1 p.m.
1 p.m. Eastern Time.